Good morning, everyone. We had a very relaxing, very chill time at the blueberry farm, and man, the kitties got some amazing walks, and it was nice sitting there amongst the birds. And we also got some nice nature walks as well. But we are heading east here in South Africa, and today we're going to be climbing up this like crazy infamous pass. I forget the name of it. And we're going to be going on to the iconic Route 62 here in South Africa. And so up through Barrydale and a few other towns. And so this is a place that everybody in South Africa has recommended that we cruise up through here. So let's go see what this is about. I think we're going to see a lot of culture and a lot of scenery.
Suddenly the stars aren't so far away. I can feel the light shining on my face. Gonna reach for the sky. Gonna reach for the sky. Sky high, high, sky high. I'm gonna try.
We've started our climb on the Tradouw Pass, and we've pulled off at a little place where they have some historical information. And whether you know or not, if you've been following the journey, you do. Me and Curt are road builders before we were van lifers. And what is really interesting about this pass through these mountains is that it was built between 1869 and 1873. They built this road, of course, not with asphalt. But they had to come through here and carve all these mountains and rocks. And in 1873, that is really cool. And Tradouw is a native word, and it means the woman's path. So this man came in here to build an easy way for the women to get through the mountains.
Yeah, and we're currently at about 300 meters. We've already come up a bit. I think our last camp spot was at a couple hundred meters. So anyway, we go up about 500 more meters to the summit, and right now what we can see is a vast canyon below and some mountains above. So it's supposed to be a beautiful pass. I can tell you we see yellow flowers and some patches of purple flowers along the way. So
let's keep going.
Stunning drive. All right, Snow's first course has arrived.
What you have to know is this place is famous for its milkshakes. So I had to get one, but it's also lunchtime. So I've got a weird mixture of food coming.
Oh, here comes the rest. So she also got the grilled cheese tomato soup
Yes, thank
and
you.
the burger, the Dane's burger for me. Look at this thing. This is a big burger with grilled onions, some gherkins, tomato sauce, lettuce, and rustic chips.
Grilled cheese on sourdough, tomato soup. We're gonna dig in, so I'm
And
gonna
a
get to that.
And a giant shake.
Gotta get to the shake. So we made it through the beautiful mountain pass, and as soon as you get through there, you pop out at a little town called Barrydale. Now this place has kind of made itself famous on this Route 62 through this part of the country. And Route 62, if you're back in the States, I think you could kind of say it's,
Route 66.
yeah, trying to take on the same feel as Route 66. And all through here, there'll be small towns and little pull-offs. But there's a famous one here in Barrydale. Diesel and Cream.
Diesel and Cream.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like an iconic 50s road grill, and it's got all the old ceramic
signs, yeah.
signs, the diesel pumps.
Just eclectic stuff all over the place.
It really is.
As soon as you walk, well, as soon as you get to the parking lot, the vibe, you can just feel it from all the way out here. And you get inside, and everyone's friendly. They have done a really good job of making themselves a little famous pit stop through here.
I guarantee you, in a month's time, when it starts to get a lot warmer, the weather gets better. This is going to be loaded with motorcycles,
Yeah. There were already
loaded
some
with
here.
weekenders coming up and riding this strip through
Yeah.
Barrydale. Now, Barrydale is also supposed to be kind of little artsy-fartsy town. So I don't know what kind of little shops and trinkets they have around here.
But there's something.
And I don't even know if we'll stop and see them.
But we did stop at Diesel and Cream because what are they famous for, Curt?
Oh, they're famous for their milkshakes.
They're supposed to have the best milkshakes in the world, and I've got to tell you guys, that was a delicious milkshake, wasn't it? Curt's not even really big on the milkshakes.
I had
It
a few
was
bites.
good.
I'm still trying to figure out how they were able to fit so much cream and so much sugar into one spoonful, but it was good.
It was delicious.
And Snow's got some carryout, so she's still got work to do.
Yeah, and as we were getting ready to leave, we met some people from Cape Town that follow us on our journey, so thank you guys. We'll pop their little
So nice to
shot
meet
in
you
here. It was
guys.
very nice to meet them, but we're going to get back on the road now.
Country pumpkin. Good morning, everyone. We had a great sleep at this warm water spring. Snow's already off, hustling over there this morning. But the drive from Barrydale, well, it's kind of turned from the green lush stuff we were seeing along the coast and up against the other side of the mountains into a little deserty area. And I guess that's kind of why it makes sense that this Route 62 area is a kind of a spin on the Route 66 in the US. But nonetheless, it's been a pretty drive through here, and we made it to this spot last night, and without a word, we just got in the hot springs and recovered from all of our as of late activities. And so it was good and relaxing. We didn't pull the cameras out, and but we decided before we head out this morning, we were gonna head over here to the spa one more time. And while I'm walking over there, I'll just tell you that there's peacocks here, and I've kind of seen them around or whatever, and I had some bird seed left over from when we were at the apartment. And so I put some bird seed out in front of the sliding doors, and the peacocks came, and all the cats were just having fun. They've had so many experiences with different birds around the world, and they've seen peacocks before, but it was still pretty cool. And yeah, but anyway, this place has been real nice. It was, I think, 380 Rand per night, and that includes the use of the thermal spas. The campground has electric, park spots. They have some more permanent spots. I just came through all sorts of cabins that I showed you. And so there's also a nice restaurant down here. But here's the springs, and I gotta turn the camera off.
So we left the hot springs very relaxed. We made about an hour and a half drive to the next big town. As we were making that drive, we started out going through some long, straight, desert-looking roads. Reminded us a lot of the West back in the States. Then we came through a mountain pass where we had to go down quite a bit on some beautiful curvy roads through rocky, orange-colored, jagged mountains. It was really a stunning drive. Very steep, though. We were surprised about that. Then we made it down, and we made it to the town. We went to the grocery store. Nothing exciting until we were leaving the grocery store. And Curt was loading groceries into the van and pulled an old man move and tweaked his back.
I'm all banged up,
He's
guys.
banged up. So we went straight to the campsite. We put him basically on bed rest in the afternoon and overnight. And I wanted him to stay at that camp one more day to rest his back. But guys, he is too excited about what we have planned for today.
But I am banged up.
He is. You're going to see him walking a little funny and moving a little slow. And that's okay. He's allowed sometimes. I definitely have my share of that. But we are almost to what has him so excited he can't stay on bed rest.
Guys, we have seen these big, giant birds throughout West and South Africa. And today, I'm super excited because we're going to go get an up-close look at the ostriches.
Let's go do it, guys. It's going to be fun.
How are you doing? Good. Where are you from?
South Africa.
Oh,
It's a beautiful country.
Amazing country.
I'm inspecting birds. I see you are driving on the left side. So what I need from me is only a date of birth. Now it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I only want to write down your number plate. Then you guys are free to go, man.
Thank you, sir. You have a good day. Thank you.
Thanks. You guys have a great day.
All right, so this cost us just under 500 Rand, so that's gonna be what, about $25, give or take a little. And that was getting us in, and they said we needed packets of corn. I think we're gonna feed ostriches.
All right, you guys, this is a legit ostrich farm. Now, we are not in the nature, so to speak. This is a farm.
Right, now first of all, good morning again and very welcome to Highgate Ostrich Show Farm. Just a brief outline what the tour is about.
Okay.
First of all, I will tell you a short story about this chariot. Then we're going to visit the feather sections, the incubators, also feeding of the birds by hands. When we're going to get to the adult birds on that side, just be very careful for anything shiny, because they like to peck at them out of curiosity. Then after that, we're gonna visit a special nest where you can actually stand on eggs for your pictures. And then the last part of the tour, it's about the skeleton or the bone structure of the ostrich and different objects which were found inside their stomachs over the past few years. Okay. All right. This over here, it's called a ostrich chariot. It was designed in 1986 for a special sport event which were held in town. Now, in those days, South Africa couldn't participate in the Olympic Games overseas or during the isolation years. And they decided to have their own special games here in South Africa. Now, the chariot traveled from town to town, and when they reached Oudtshoorn, they decided to make use of 4 ostriches. Now, in the front were 2 females and at the back were the males. But luckily, it was also mating season, because the males, they like to chase the females. But unfortunately, the males, they couldn't reach the females. The people only used it once. What they also discovered is that ostriches, when it comes to teamwork, they're not very good with that. Right, now first of all, in the Oudtshoorn region, the farmers, they breed the birds for different reasons. Some farmers are for the feathers, and some are for the meat and egg production or for reproduction. Now when the birds get raised for their feathers, at 6 months they undergo cleaning processes. So when they reach the adult stages, the feathers are in much better conditions. Now, adult ostriches, the females and the males, their short body feathers, it get plucked every 9 months. But the long wing feathers, they only get clipped. No, this is the tails. This is the wings. The wing feathers, this is male. And then the females, they got it's a mixture of the white and the grayish patterns in between. They get clipped once a year. Now when the handlers do the clipping, there are parts of about 2.5 centimeters which remain in the skin openings. Then after 56 days they are dry, then it drops out naturally, making space for the new feathers which are busy growing back.
They don't just pluck them. They cut them.
When it's these ones get clipped, but the body feathers and the tails, they get plucked because it's ripe. ready to fall out.
Oh, okay.
When it's still green, then it's a bit tough for them to come out, so they leave it and then they wait until it is ready. But in nature, the birds also lose their feathers naturally. It's called molting. It happens once a year. And also during fighting, they lose their feathers their way as well, but it grows back again. Now the short body feathers, for them to grow back completely, it will take 3 months. And then for the wing feathers, it will take 6 months. The quantity of feathers from each bird during the processes, it's only 1.5 kilograms. And the best feathers, it is between 3 and 15 years, sometimes up to the ages of 40. For example, when they pluck and clip the feathers continuously, then the quality of the feathers, it can go down.
Okay.
And it's also advisable not to pluck the birds from too high up. It might end up in sunburn or damages to the skins. But they do have natural bone patches on their skins or on the body, which is on the sides. But those naked parts, it get covered by the long wing plumes.
Oh, okay.
The shorter feathers, we mainly use them for feather dusters, for cleaning purposes. And then the wing plumes of the males and the females, they go for multi-layer boas, feather handbags, and still in Rio de Janeiro for the annual carnival events. They still use them or in show business.
Oh, okay.
Later on in the tour, you will see that the male ostriches, their tail feathers are like this. It's actually from all the dust baths they take. But it's completely washable, and the white ones over here, it is the natural color after they've been washed.
So these are just dirty.
It's dirty. When the males sit down, what happens is when they take the dust baths, they move the tail feathers, it becomes static, and the dust particles, they adhere very quickly. But there's no oil gland, so it's not a problem to wash their feathers. It absorbs water very easily. And after the washing or cleaning processes, the people just shake the feathers dry, and then it is back to the normal form. Right.
Are these brushed at all to kind of separate them? Because a lot of bird feathers aren't this soft. Or is this just kind of a natural ostrich texture?
It is the natural texture of the feathers.
Okay.
All right. And then later on in the tour, in nature, once the females are done with the egg laying, the two have to take turns to keep the eggs warm, but at different times. Now, late in the afternoons, the males, they settle in for the night shifts because their dark plumage, it's excellent for camouflage. When it's pitch dark, you can't really see them sitting. And in the mornings, they leave the eggs so that the females can take over for the day shifts. Because during the daytime, theirs blend in with the surroundings or the backgrounds. But sometimes the males, they sit during the day, which is unusual. It's actually their way of being nice towards the females. Oh. Here, it is the skin of the ostrich, and this part over here, it is from the leg. It is not the natural color. Now for the females, it is from light to dark gray, and those of the males, it is a bluish color.
Oh, is it?
Now in mating season, these parts of the males, the scaly patterns, they turn a bright red. It's actually their way of saying to the females, it's their time of the year. On the other hand, the farm workers need to be extra careful because it's also a danger sign. Ostriches is very unpredictable, and they normally make use of a powerful kick to the front and down when they attack or defend. And they got very sharp toenails, and those toenails can rip the enemies open in seconds. But they can't kick backwards, so it's okay if you stand behind them. All right. Now, when they get raised for the meat, the best ages, it's 10 to 14 months. They weigh about 90 to 95 kilograms, but you only get about 30 kilograms of meat per ostrich, which is mainly from the hips and the thighs. And the meat goes for the steaks. the fillets and other meat products. Meat is very healthy, low in cholesterol, low in fat, but high in protein and iron. All right. At the tannery, the skins, they undergo different processes. And then 13 processes they undergo before it get to the soft leather. And it will take 6 to 8 weeks to complete them. And there's a variety of colors available for the clients to choose from, about 450. And then the products that people normally make from the skins, it is handbags, purses, belt, shoes. In the auto industry, the people use them for car seats and also around the steering wheels, but only if the car owners ask for it. And then to distinguish between original ostrich leather and imitation leather, ostrich leather is very soft, it's pliable and durable. Artificial leather is none of those. And these knobs, you can actually lift them with your fingernails, but with imitation leather you can't lift them up, they are too stiff to be lifted. And also the reason why ostrich leather is so expensive, to complete one ostrich handbag, and they use about 3 to 4 skins.
Because they only take the prime species.
If the clients prefer mainly to these parts,
The texture,
be involved in the product. Feather factory, yeah, they make all sorts of related products, from dusters to feather pencils. Now what Debbie's busy doing, she's sizing and sorting the feathers by making sure the duster maker is receiving the best ones for the end products. Because when it comes to quality, people are very strict on that. And then for the feather boas, what we normally do, we either take the plain wing plumes or those who've been colored. The feathers first get cleaned, lukewarm water with a bit of washing powder or dishwasher. Afterwards, they rub them dry or they shake it dry, and then the feathers are back to the normal form, nice and fluffy. And then the barbs get removed by means with a scissors, and then they place the barbs nicely onto each other. But in the middle, there's also a certain length of wire or cotton thread. Pieces get stitched nicely together by means with a needle. For one product to be completed, it will take a day to a day and a half. The quantity of feathers for each feather boa is between 30 and 40, depending on the thickness or the volume. All right.
Can I look at this boa real
Yes,
quick?
it's a small one, the purple one.
Yeah.
So you say 30 to 40 feathers. So how many birds will it
It's from
take?
one ostrich approximately, sir.
So one ostrich will make, oh look, oh it's,
Yeah, it's just that, and so there's a wire inside.
Yes.
oh so they kind of peel the stem off.
Yes. They first remove that, and then it's easy for the barbs and then to come off.
Okay.
Thank you.
You just wanted to wear a
I
boa.
did, I just wanted to put it on.
This machine is made, it's actually designed for a left-handed person, but also a right-handed person can manage it. And then for the feather dusters, about 30 to 40 grams of feathers get used, and then a certain piece of wire which goes on, and different lengths of wooden sticks. And then with this machine daily, when Uncle Mervyn is here, he can do up to 200 feather dusters. That's now without interruptions.
200 a day?
200 a day, yes.
Oh, so he
Uncle
just,
Mervyn is the feather duster.
Yes.
he's the king.
And then
Oh, and this is Uncle Mervyn right here?
Mervyn, yes. And when the dusters is done by the week, it goes to the shop where they sell it then to the visitors. And sometimes we also receive orders from outside.
And so you export them some.
Now,
Wow, oh, this is the craftsman.
we draw the pictures on the shelf very carefully by means with a pencil. And then I use the machine with different attachments to go over the lines. And then Burton do about 20 to 30 shelves per week. And because it takes a lot of time actually to complete one. And it's very, very precise. And later on in the shop you will see some of Burton's artwork. Alright.
All right, I think Snow's getting cuteness overload over here. I can hear.
Heads are polka dotted. Hi, guys.
Be careful, it'll kick you from the front and thrash you open.
Look at them.
Right, now these ones you see over
Look at
here,
that.
those ones on that side, they almost a month, and the ones over here, they are 2 weeks. Alright. Now they are on day 42 when they hatch out. It might take about 2 to 3 hours before they really free. Now they lie in positions with their claws close to the beaks. They first kick and peck through the inner membranes and then the hard shells. Now sometimes the shells they break in irregular patterns. Now the people who are taking care of the incubators, they help them by breaking the shells further apart. In nature, when one of the parents are on duty, they also help them by packing. Now once they hatch out, they stay in the incubators for about 3 to 4 hours just to dry off nicely and for their navels to be disinfected. And then they don't eat anything. Only on day 4, they start eating a mixture of lucerne and maize. Lucerne is actually the best food for them of all ages. When they become 3 months, they lose their voices because their vocal cords it's not so well developed. But the adult birds, they normally make a booming sound, or it sounds like the roaring of a lion. And it's mainly in mating breeding season we hear that. Alright, females when happy or excited, they are uttering a hissing sound. Right. The mixture of colors is also good for camouflage in nature. When they're motionless on the ground, then they look like dry Karoo bushes.
Is this a guy or a girl?
Not yet.
Don't know yet. Okay.
Not yet,
It's
man.
neutral.
They're sticky. Oh my.
Yeah, the texture of the baby feathers is very coarse.
Yeah. Oh, you are adorable. Yes, you are. You've got polka dots on your neck. Oh, okay. I gotta hand you to Curt, okay? He gets to hold you too. Got him?
Yeah.
Hi, little guy. It's okay. Hi, little guy. I know, we're big, scary humans. I'm sorry.
All right, I'm gonna let him go.
Alright. Go back to your buddies.
The females, they lay 12 to 16 eggs per clutch.
Oh, wow.
And it's
Clutch.
one per clutch, yeah. It's one every 2 days. And then they sit on those eggs for 6 weeks or 42 days. And they do it 2 to 3 times a year. It depends normally on the weather conditions.
So 20 to 40 eggs a year.
Yeah, it could be more. Right, now I'm going to take you through the different incubators from the oldest to the latest. In 1869, the first incubators were introduced to the farmers by Arthur Douglas. Now, Arthur Douglas was also an ostrich pioneer. But in those days, there were no electricity, and they operated it with paraffin and water or lamp oil. On this side, we have the oil container, and there is the lamp. For the workers, it was quite difficult to regulate the temperature. It was in a high and then low. Because of that, it was unsuccessful. But luckily, it couldn't take that much of eggs. It was only about 10 in each drawer, about 20. And then the ones we introduced operated by electricity, right? Now with these ones, the people still had to use their hands to turn the eggs. In nature, ostriches make use of their beaks to turn theirs. But nowadays with modern incubators, the rotations can be done every hour and automatically. The reason why the eggs need to be turned is to prevent the yolk from adhering to the one sides of the shells before the embryo starts developing. It's also their way of eliminating abnormalities. Alright. Other big ones, when they get folded up, they can take 800 eggs each. And then the small one over here, they can only take 400. Other eggs they use for the incubators is from the feather birds. Now feather birds are males and females together in big flocks or groups. Now late in the afternoons in the season or in the early mornings, the workers they go out to do the collections. And before the eggs can go into the incubators, they need to make sure that everything is thoroughly cleaned out.
What are you guys doing?
Well-mannered. Oh! You're not well-mannered.
Watch your sunglasses. Yeah, with a long neck. You can't reach it. You're choking them.
Good job. All right, here, you do some.
No, go ahead. Go ahead and finish yours, and then I'll do mine. He's got a floppy neck. Why is his neck so floppy? See how his neck's kind of like...
That is actually the windpipe.
And this one's got like a tighter neck. It's not so...
So he's much younger than the other one.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Oh, here comes the females.
Okay.
Two ladies. Single ladies.
And
turn my back to him?
yes. When you finish, you just lower the bucket and then you can step forward. There you
Oh, hold the bucket down a little bit. Hold it down a little bit. Hold it down a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. There's still some in there.
Yes, it's Easter.
Oh, okay.
Oh, he's banging my head. Whoa!
Yeah, get yours out and feed them now.
Okay.
You okay?
You guys kind of pinch a little.
Some do,
Ow.
some don't. Yeah, you gotta find the nice ones.
Whoa! You guys pinch a little. I don't know if I like feeding you. Whoa! You got my arm!
No, don't do that. I'll feed them if you're gonna throw it.
All right, here, you feed them. I'm getting cut up.
He's scared of them.
It's been years since I've done my first guided tour with a guide here by Highgate, like an educational tour. It was in 1993. All right. When you take a look at the headset, the brain is about there. Quite small, 30 to 40 grams. And that is the eye sockets. Each eye, which is about 30 to 60 to 70 grams.
Well, Curt managed to walk through the ostrich tour with the bum back, but it was worth it, wasn't it, Curdy?
It was a really amazing tour, and we were lucky. Our guide
It's like an expert.
is now like, I don't know, the manager or whatever.
In the office, yeah.
He's like super smart and cool when it comes to these ostriches.
And we had him all to ourselves. It was like a private tour. It was amazing.
Really a fascinating tour.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, that winds down our
Yeah.
sort of tour of the Route 62. We're on one end of it. We kind of started in the middle.
Yep.
Pretty unique,
Yep.
pretty cool, scenic drive.
And we are headed back towards the coast to where people tell us is the most beautiful part of South Africa. I don't know how it can get any prettier, but we're headed back there to see for two reasons. One, we need to go see the Garden Coast. And two, we have not updated you on our inverter. We believe it's here. We have to go to the city of George to pick it up. Want to wind this video down?
See you guys in the next one. Cheers.
Cheers, guys. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell so you guys know when we put out new videos. And don't forget, you can always follow us over on Instagram to see what's going on in between videos. Cheers, guys.